Hello, people. I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on what's going on in the Republic of Uganda, particularly the incident that we saw the day before yesterday and yesterday, the protests in Kampala following the arrest and detention of the opposition leader, Bobby Wine. Now, as we speak today, I think that we have a confirmation about 20 or more people have been confirmed dead. And that's really sad. The fact that anybody has to die because of an election is really quite disturbing. That we can, carelessly keep losing people in a manner like this is really sad, and to say the least, it's quite disturbing and shouldn't be tolerated. Having said that, I think I wanted to briefly reflect upon how the international community, particularly the US and its Western allies, dealing or handling or responding to the process and the situation in Uganda. Uganda is one of these countries where the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, keeps, doing a lot of, engaging in a lot of massive human rights violations, using the police, a heavily militarized police force to brutalize, persecute his own people in his quest to cling to power. Museveni has been in power for, he's coming now to almost 4 decades, since 1986. But somehow, despite the fact that he's a dictator and he's a man who is ruling Uganda with such an iron fist, there does not seem to be any, noise about him from the West, particularly in Washington. Why is that? Now, here is the reason why the West is particularly not very concerned or very stern in terms of its response to the situation in Uganda, and particularly the president. Yoweri Museveni has been, in my view, the West is, and particularly Washington's goon for hire, if I can use that. He is the person who is doing the dirty job in the region. He's fighting the American wars in the region. He's, giving the US, all these kind of space and opportunity to then, together with him, do pursue whatever security interests in the Congo, in the Central African Republic, in the Sudan, and all these parts of and all these countries of the region. So there's a reason why that the US is actually very reluctant to take any stern action against Museveni. First, because of, as I said, like, they work together. They've been using Museveni all these years to pursue their own security interest. But two, it's because also they know that Museveni has known a lot, having worked with them all this period. He knows a lot of secrets about them. So I think they are ready to, kind of be lenient to him, somehow work with him without, they don't want to rock the boat, because perhaps he can spill the beans and reveal what kind of dirty politics that the US and its Western allies has been engaged in the greater Great Lakes region. So I feel that there is these are some of the reasons why we do not see a lot of maybe sanctions, maybe any stern action being taken against Museveni, which is really unfortunate. Because the people of Uganda continue to pay the ultimate price for a dictator who is in power. Somehow a good or a good dictator for the West, for the US, he still remains a dictator that they can work with. Because of that, they are not able to then, kind of take an action. So when we look at this, one may argue, why is it that we are now, kind of raising the issue about the West not doing anything about Uganda, when some of us also do argue that the West should, stop meddling in processes in Africa? I think the reason is simple. The dollars that are coming from the West in terms of donor or security support or whatever it is to Uganda has contributed greatly to sustaining Museveni in power. So in a way, the West does have a hand in having Museveni in power in Uganda. And for that reason, it does have the higher responsibility to the people of Uganda to, come clean on its role and influence and position as regards to the current situation. And indeed, if the West does not, particularly the US, does not come out clear on this, then the people of Uganda need to know who are their enemies. I think as we talk about Museveni and clinging to power and democracy and human rights violations and all these kinds of things, we should also look at the US as strongly implicated in part of what is going on in Uganda, particularly for not only not calling it out, but also for funding Museveni for all these years, and by so doing, sustaining him in power, which is against the will of the people of Uganda, the majority of the people of Uganda. Thank you.